if one of the biggest things I learned from the guys from Khabib's team is like they'll come in before practice and he'll ask you like, today's your hard sparring. How do you feel mentally? Are you okay? Did you get in any fight with anybody in your family? Are you stressed out? Like if you have any of those issues with your head, you're not training.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he's like,
interesting because it's hard sparring because basically you're in a fight.
Yeah, you're going to be in a fight, and if you're not fully engaged and you're not fully ready for it, you're really not going to gain anything, and you're going to hurt yourself.
Oh.
And that's where injuries come from and little things. So when he brought that up, I'm like, huh? Like I figured you guys would be like, tough it out, man up. Don't like my mentality was when I got there, and I was like, don't be soft.
Yeah.
But they're very smart with it, and
that just shows you how smart they really are. That even though they're beyond tough, they know there's a certain little area that you really need to address.
Yeah, and it was cool. 'Cause like I said, I'm like one of those guys where probably every single camp I'm overtraining, and like I don't feel like I'm ready unless I'm overtrained.
Really?
So yeah, because I'll work out twice, and then I'll be like 3 hours of doing nothing. I'm like, man, I should do something. I need to be doing something right now. Let me go for a jog.
Do you use like a heart rate monitor or anything to see what your resting heart rate? You do whoops?
Yeah. When I'm at a camp, I do whoops.
So can you tell from that whether or not you're overtraining? And do you back off when you are?
It'll tell you'll get those days where it'll be like you're redlined or whatever. But I'm still gonna train, but not train as crazy hard.
Right.
But for the most part, when I'm even feeling tired, and it'll be like you're 90% recovery, and I'm like, I feel like trash, but then mentally I'll be like, oh, well, the whoops is I'm okay. So I think that, maybe I am okay. Maybe I'm just being soft mentally when my body feels terrible, but it's like the whoops tell me I'm okay, so I'm just trusting it.
So that's all you use to make sure that you're not overtrained? You just and you monitor like what it says about your heart rate and resting heart rate and all that jazz?
Yeah. I'm waking up and I'm seeing what it says, and it's like when I started really believing it is when I caught COVID, and like I woke up and it was like the day before I was supposed to come to a fight, and I was fighting Diego Lima, and then we were supposed to leave the next day, and I woke up and it said 0 on my recovery.
0?
Yeah, it said 0, and I was like, what the fudge? And then all of a sudden, like that night, like I was like literally just like shivering in bed. I woke up in the middle of the night shivering, and I was like, what the heck's going on? And I was like freezing, and I was like, no, I got to fight this week. So I put like my jacket on, went to bed, and I'm like still shivering with my jacket on, and I was like, what the heck's going on? So then I look at my whoop and it says that, and I was like, so I call like my buddy who's a doctor, and I'm like, dude, what do I do for shivering? And he's like, he's like, bro, I think you should go get tested. It was like early on when COVID first hit, and I was like, no, I don't got COVID, dude. I'm fighting this week. And he's like, I don't know. I think those are symptoms for COVID. And I was like, I hung up on it. I was like, forget you. But like the whole night, like I was up the whole night, and I was like, I hit up Ali, and I was like, are they gonna test me when I come down to when I get there tomorrow? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, what if it says I'm positive? And he's like, then you're gonna have to drive home, or you're gonna have to fly back. Well, they're not gonna let you fly back home. You have to drive back home, or you wait the 2 weeks in Vegas. And then I was like, but they're for sure gonna test me. And he's like, yeah. So then I was like, all right.
So you're gonna fight even if you were sick with COVID?
Yeah, because like you go through a whole camp. And
were you still training when you were that sick?
Well, that was just like the first day it hit. So I was like shivering that day. And then the next day I was supposed to leave. So I woke up the next day, my flight's in like a couple hours. And I'm like, why the heck am I freezing or whatever? And then like I'm calling him everything that time. And I'm like, I don't want to fly to Vegas and then them send me back. But for me, I'm like, if it's a cold, I'll get over it in a day. I'll get over it in a couple of days. And then fight Saturday. So I still have 3 or 4 days to get over it.
Right, How many days did it take you to get over COVID?
It was probably like 2 days of just like chills and shivering, and then just like body soreness. But like by like day 3, I was feeling okay. But like I was like in the best shape ever. Like you're in your camp, you're healthy, yeah. And
did you work out at all while you had COVID?
It was like a depressing moment because my fight just got canceled because of it.
Yeah.
So then I was like, fudge this. I'm just like eating trash and laying there.
Yeah.
And then probably about like day 4, then I was like, all right, I need to get up and reschedule this fight and then do something. So like by day 4, I was back to training regularly.